Good evening and welcome to the Dollar Dogs and Beer Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew. Joining me tonight, we've got Joe, as Jason still needs another week to try and get this cough kicked out of his system. Buddy, I feel for you. As I said last week, it was a solid 3 weeks to a month last year for me after pneumonia, so I get it. It sucks. It's part of growing old. Have fun. Joe, how you holding up?
Holding up pretty good. I can't complain. The fewer games I watch, the better the Cubs do. So I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
I'm going to guess if Jason were here right now, he'd tell you to stop watching Phillies games too, based on how they've been playing.
Well, I mean, he could certainly tell me to do that, but I don't watch their games either. So
That's fair. That's fair.
maybe I should start watching Phillies games.
All right.
I will take that under advisement with Jason.
All right, man. So what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking a very, very nice, very smooth 12-year Redbreast Irish whiskey. So
I love Redbreast. I actually have it's ironic. I actually have a bottle of that thing right here too. It's not what I'm drinking tonight, but damn, that's a fantastic whiskey. For me tonight, from Virginia, Potter's Craft Cider from Charlottesville, Virginia. Really awesome can art, and what I really appreciate is they don't add extra sugar to it after the fermentation process to sweeten it back up. So it's actually a legitimate zero sugar cider. You have 6 carbs in it, but there's no added sugars in it. It's a nice, delicious dry cider, just the way cider was freaking meant to be. It does not need to be sweet, cough, cough, angry orchard to be a good cider. So rolling into it tonight, I wanted to touch on some records and milestones. It's been a little bit since we touched on those. We've had quite a few just this weekend, over the years so far. First off, just in his last start, Aaron Nola hit the 2,000 strikeout mark, joining Steve Carlton as the only other Phillies pitcher to hit 2,000 strikeouts. First of all, can I just say that that's crazy that the Phillies have only produced 2 pitchers that have hit 2,000 strikeouts?
It does seem a little shocking to me, but I think you probably could blame that on the focus on control versus velo and some of that.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just the Phillies are one of the older franchises. You just think that you think that one of their pitchers along the way would have gotten to it. It's I just think it's kind of crazy that it's only been 2 so far. Oh yeah, I guess Randy Wolf only hit 1,800. Okay, because that was immediately I thought Randy Wolf had. I always remembered him having decent strikeout numbers, but I guess not. Jacob Mizrowski hit his 200th strikeout of the season, which is a surprise to nobody, but he did it in 129 in the 3rd innings. That obliterates the old franchise record, which was Corbin Burns doing it in 145 and 2/3. That's crazy. For reference, he's the 9th Brewer to hit 200 strikeouts in a season.
That is amazing to me. First off that, but second off how quickly he did it. And I think he must have pitched the other day. I don't know if it was yesterday or Saturday, but he opened 21 straight fastballs and 17 of them were strikes.
Damn, pound the zone, man. I love it. Pound the zone.
This guy is just ridiculous. Such a lively arm. He'll definitely throw it out in the next 6 years or 2 years.
Yeah, we're just gonna strap in and enjoy it while it lasts. Speaking of guys that might be throwing out their arm from high velo, he's the second fastest to 200 strikeouts in MLB history. Strider did it in 123 and a third back in 2023. So it's still incredible. 129 and a third's incredible as well. The fact that we've had 2 guys do it in the last 5 years is kind of crazy. Also, crazy Mizrowski stat. From that start, Joe, it's the 8th time he's thrown 50, 100 plus mile an hour pitches in a game. His poor elbow. Yeah, like I said, ride it and enjoy it while it lasts, because it's not going to last forever.
I tell you what, I hope that MLB and Pitching Ninja subsidize his elbow surgery, because this is crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It generates content, that's for damn sure.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. All right, next, Jacob Wilson had his 111th straight error-free game at shortstop. That is a new Major League Baseball record. Previous record was Mike Bordick of the Orioles back in 2002. Wilson's last error was July 6th of last year against San Francisco. And if the name is kind of familiar, it's because he's Jack Wilson's kid. Jack Wilson was a 12-year Major League Baseball shortstop as well. Also a defense first player. He instilled that very heavily in Jacob growing up and in Little League and all of that as well. So freaking awesome to see.
Yeah, that's pretty special. It might be the best thing going on out there.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, to do that at shortstop is freaking nuts and absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman hit the 2,500 career hit mark. He's the only active player now to be at that plateau. So crazy, Freddie. Absolutely crazy. We'll always love the guy. Hate that he's in LA. I'm sorry, I had to slip that in there. Max Scherzer hit earlier this year, hit 3,516 career strikeouts, which passed the great Walter Johnson for sole possession of 10th place all time. Mad Max will be seen in Cooperstown. Probably it should be first ballot. If Scherzer's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then the writers that have the stick up their ass about, I won't vote for anybody the first time. Yeah, you're probably the idiot who also didn't vote for Ichiro, who was one of or Mariano, who were probably two of the clearest cases of first ballot Hall of Famers we've ever seen play this game. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I
do think that Max is going to have, I think Max is going to be a second year or third year, just because I think he's rubbed people the wrong way over the years, just with his outgoing, colorful personality, we'll call it.
You're not wrong. And his numbers aren't perfect. Right. Career record of 222, 121. So, as we know, we can't look at the 300 win plateau anymore because pitchers don't pitch deep enough and long enough anymore. But he does have a career WAR of 75. ERA is a little bit on the higher side at 327. But, he's always been, his peak in the middle of the 2000 aughts, excuse me, back when Washington was actually a freaking powerhouse, he had wars of, last 2 years of Detroit, 6'5", 5'8", 6'9", 6'3", 7'2", 7'9", 5'3" to end his time in Washington. I mean, his last 2020 had 2-2, but that was a short season. And then 2021 between Washington and the Dodgers, he still put up 6.1. So the longevity, it's not pitchers of old. In his next start, he's going to get to 3,000 innings pitched. He's at 29.99, and I will be shocked if he doesn't at least get, even as bad as he's been this year, I will be shocked if he doesn't at least get one inning pitched in. So, this year, sure, not great, but he averaged 245 strikeouts a season over his career. ERA plus of 129 for the career whip of 1.089. The dude's a baller. Is he absolutely batshit crazy? Yes. Yes. And the fact that he's got dichromatic eyes definitely lends into that as well. But he's definitely going to be in at some point. If he's not in at some point, that's absolutely insane to me. Last milestone I've got for you, Joe. I think I might have mentioned it on the show in the last week or two, but it merits mentioning again. Salvador Perez hit career home run number 318 on July 25th. He is now the Royals all-time franchise leader. He passed the great and, also kind of crazy George Brett. All right. Any other milestones, records that I missed? I did a general search for the season. I think I got most of the big ones. Did I miss anything that you recall?
Not that I'm aware of. No, I think you got it.
Perfect. All right, let's roll it into the state of baseball right now and look at some playoff races. So, in the American League first, in the conference where it's literally insanely wide open still, even for sub 500 teams. Your top seed is the Rays. Number 2 is the White Sox, who are just putting it in perspective here, 10 games behind the Rays, and then the Astros are the 3 seed, who are 12 games behind the Rays. So the Rays, of course, it's not locked up. It's August 10th. There's still plenty of baseball to be played, but it feels like the Rays are starting to get control and level this out. Looking at the wild card side, the Yankees are the top wild card at the 4 seed. They're +7 up on the rest of the wild cards. Red Sox are at 5 at +5.5. And then the last wild card team as of today is the Rangers. Now, just noting the division races for those teams as well. The Yankees are 5.5 behind the Rays. The Red Sox are 7. So certainly the the AL East is certainly not decided yet. There's definitely time for a push to be made by either of those teams. The bigger thing I see is that the AL West is going to be the wild, wild West, I think, until the very end, because the Rangers are only a half game behind the Astros. The Mariners are 4 behind as well. So that's going to be a fight the rest of the way. And just looking at the race for the wild card behind the Rangers, the Tigers are a game back. The Twins are a game and a half. The Guardians are a game and a half. The Orioles are 2, even though they're 14.5 out of the division. The Mariners are 3.5 back, and the Blue Jays are 3.5 back at 16 in the division. So for the Orioles and the Blue Jays, which I do not expect them to stay on this list for too much longer, their only path in is going to be the wild card. They're not going to catch the Rays. No chance in hell. The Central, though, again, also still wide open. The Tigers are 3.5 behind the White Sox. The Twins are at 4. The Guardians are at 4. So what do you think of the American League so far? Do you think things are kind of settled? Do you, like outside the 6 spot and the 3 spot?
Probably, I guess. I think I think of the 2 behind Tampa, the only one that has a real shot of getting Tampa is Boston. There's too many unknowns with the Yankees, not knowing how soon Judge will be back, knowing how soon some of the Stanton, I think, is still hurt. So, those guys that are still hurt, to me, there's so much unknown, and it feels like they're almost hiding the fact whether they're going to come back or not.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, there really hasn't been a major update on Aaron Judge since probably 5-6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
With the All-Star balloting and stuff. So to me, of those 2, I think Boston has the most legitimate shot to overtake the Rays, if anybody. I certainly could see them shifting into the 4 spot. But again, maybe the 1 or the 2, depending on how the division shakes out. To me, so I mean that's the one in the AL East that makes the most sense. Truthfully, I don't think anybody outside the Rangers. I think the AL West is a 2-team race. I know that there's not a lot of games between them and Seattle, but I mean, to get rid of Castillo, I mean, I know they didn't get rid of Hancock or Kirby, which people thought they were going to at the deadline, but it's just, to me, it's a game of momentum swings, and right now the Rangers and the Astros are just hotter than the rest of that division.
It's true. Yeah, those 2 teams have been playing extremely well as of late, compared to what they had been doing for a while. I mean, right. It really it was the division. It seemed like nobody wanted to win for the longest time, but now the 2 of them are 2 of the hotter teams in baseball lately. The Rangers scuttling a little bit, but over the last 10, but they've still been strong before coming out of the break. Outside of Atlanta, I think the Rangers have pretty much dealt with everybody else they've played. So, what's crazy though, Joe? 0 teams in the AL West have a positive run differential right now. I don't think I've ever seen that in August.
I mean, who knows? I think these run differential stats, and I think one of the problems with these is that I think if they were playing each other more like they used to.
Yeah.
And I think there would be some positives in here, but when you're playing the entire league and you're stacking up against certain guys, I mean, it makes sense that they're all negative. But I mean, everybody but the Astros is 500 or worse, so it's
Yeah.
not completely shocking to me.
Rangers are at 500 too.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
right. I said only about outside of the Astros, everybody is 500 or worse.
Yeah, my bad. My
So
bad. I
yeah,
misheard you.
that's okay. So to me, it's kind of like okay, you kind of expect that when the rest of the division is scuttling the way they are, and still somehow not completely out of it. Um, yeah, to me, I do think that's a two-team race in the AL West. I, I I could see the only team I see really making a play for the White Sox is the Guardians if they get hot again.
Yeah, I agree.
Um, I don't think the Tigers have enough. Now, I mean, not that they don't have enough. They still have. I mean, they lost two of their starters. Who they're going to need down the stretch to really make up this ground, and I don't think they're going to be able to do that.
I
Um,
I think we're too close to the trade deadline for the full impact of losing Scooble and Mize to fully show in the standings yet for the Tigers. I'm
right.
with. I think over the next couple weeks they're going to rapidly drop down this list and drop off.
Yeah, to me, it's a two-team race between the Guardians and the White Sox, and it always has been
Yeah,
from the beginning of the year. So to me, that makes a whole lot of sense. Those are the only two in that division. I mean,
hmm
as far as the wild card is concerned, again, to me, Cleveland is the only team that's probably going to sustain enough to sneak in. I don't have enough faith in the rest of the American League, but to have, you know, 12 of the 15 teams really technically still alive
it's
is
insane.
is yeah, it's mind blowing to me.
Yeah,
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, uh, I, like I said, probably your six is mostly set. Again, Cleveland is probably the only team that really sneaks in. The order might shift a little bit with Boston and New York and Tampa. Um, but your six teams are probably correct.
yeah,
Cleveland's the one long shot.
I agree. Um, the Twins might surprise us. They were actually adding a bit at the break. I don't know. Either way, whatever AL Central team makes it beyond the White Sox, even the White Sox, I don't know that any of them are set up to go deep this year. The White Sox down the road, absolutely. We've just seen these young teams roll into the playoffs and face teams that have been there before, and it's usually not that pretty for the newcomers. So that's my biggest concern with going deep for the White Sox. I would not be shocked if the Guardians slip into that sixth spot though, or into the division. That's a
Yeah,
sneaky good team.
yeah, and I think one of the drawbacks. I mean, I know you mentioned older teams, more experienced teams, but nobody had Tampa Bay picked to do this.
No,
So um, I really think that the AL, like we've said many times, is extremely wide open, and a lot could happen.
yeah, um, yeah, and again, I'm very much with you on. I think we need to go back to playing more actual interdivision games. I think this. I think we've had a couple years to try this, and I think we need to go back to more of what we used to play. I as a fan, personally, I could care less if Atlanta plays every team every year. I don't care about that in the slightest. I would rather see my team play my division teams more because I feel like then you also get a better representative of who truly is the best team in the division versus who got lucky with their schedule and got to beat up on better teams when they were down or got to beat up on more bad teams because again you get to play everybody.
Well, I mean, and I would say it's taken away from some of the rivalry a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
like the fans, like people like us, the rivalry still exists, but generally speaking, it takes a little bit of emphasis off of it because it it may not matter in the long run.
Right.
Like the to not play for the Cubs to not play the Cardinals until late June is just baffling to me.
Yeah, it's terrible. It
So
never the yeah, the Cubs and Cardinals, that's one of the great rivalries in baseball, and there should be at least a series a month, honestly. I really I was worried about this when they announced the change to the scheduling format. I made that point many times on this show, and I will continue to hound on how much I dislike where that's gone.
yeah.
All right, looking at the National League side, if things ended today, number one seed is the Brewers. Number two is the Braves, who are 3 games behind the Brewers. Number three are the Dodgers, who are 4 games behind the Brewers. So NL is still the top of the NL is still very tight. And then you've got your wild card teams. Number four, you've got the Cubbies at +6, the Diamondbacks, and the Phillies are tied. The tiebreaker is the Diamondbacks ahead of the Phillies currently. After that, you've got the Padres a game back. The Marlins are 3 back. The Cardinals are 3.5 back. The Nationals are 4.5 back. And the Pirates, I left them on there, although I think the Pirates are going to drop off at 5.5 back, which, first of all, the fact that we're putting the Pirates on this list at all is surprising in a good way. The crazy thing about the NL race in comparison to the AL race is seeds can still move all the way around, but the divisions outside of the Central are, by and large, they're locked up. The Cubbies are the only ones within 5 at 5.5 behind the Brewers coming into tonight. Everybody else is 7+ behind the leaders. So you're not probably going to see a lot of chase against the Dodgers and against the Braves. To be honest, Joe, the Cubs could, as pitchers get healthy, chase the Brewers. You have to get the Brewers to start to stumble, which is usually the problem. And without a lot of head-to-head games against the Brewers, you don't have as many chances to do that, unfortunately. But the wild card, it feels like the Cubs are getting close to be. The Cubs, Yankees, Red Sox are the 3 teams I would say that are most likely to stay in the playoff race of the 6 wild card teams. They're the ones I would say are the most likely. The Diamondbacks, they've been hot lately. I'm very surprised by this. I don't think they're going to stay that hot. I think they're going to fade. I don't trust the Padres to stay hot, although, again, they went out and they got Mize, so maybe they will. How much can we trust the Padres? Anybody who's listening to this show this year knows I'm really not trusting the Padres to do much because every time they've had the chance to do it the last couple of years, they haven't. So, I'm not really feeling that. But, the Marlins and the Nationals, they're young, they're scrappy. And if you believe Jason's doom and gloom about the Phillies and current injuries, that's very unfortunate. 5-6, I could very much see a lot of changes down at the bottom of the wild card between now and the end of September. What do you think?
I think it's a little premature to call any race in the National League over.
Agree. Yeah, I'm not saying they're over, but I'm just saying.
I mean, you kind of did say that. Number one, and number two, you should know better than to say that when a team in your own division lost the division in the beginning of September and had a 7-game lead.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, I'll take that back.
Little premature to celebrate, if you will.
Oh, I'm definitely not celebrating it being over. I do know better than that. It's just, I mean, the Phillies had made up ground on the Braves coming into the All-Star break, and then coming out of the All-Star break, the Braves put the gas back down, and the Phillies are farther back out, and Atlanta finally stumbled this past weekend, dropping 2 of 3 to the Yankees, partially aided on by one of the most horrific balk calls I've ever seen in my life. But then again, the Phillies also dropped 2 or 3 to the Blue Jays. We've seen this all year. The Phillies, they make up some ground, but they can only make it up in little bursts, and then things kind of regress back to the mean again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd call that push towards the All-Star break a little burst. I mean, they were pretty damn hot for a month and a half.
Yeah, I want to point out something, though. In that month and a half, they had the easiest schedule in baseball, kind of like Atlanta did at the beginning of the season. There are trends here among both teams. They're good at beating up on the crap.
Yeah, I think look, the Dodgers are the Dodgers. If they continue to play the way they have the last 2 weeks, there's a chance they lose this division. Is it a very strong chance? No, but there is a chance that they would lose the division. I mean, certainly there's a hope amongst at least us that they lose the division. And nothing makes me happier than watching Kyle Tucker get his ass booed out of the ballpark last week when the Dodgers were at Wrigley. But
you brought that up, and then I'm thinking, and then I saw his. I really thought I'd get a better. Why did you think you'd get a better reception? Did you set any team records last year? No, you did not. Did you lead the team into the playoffs last year? No, you did not. Yes, you started out the year great, then you got hurt, and you were absolute dog crap. You were horrible, and you didn't shut it down and heal so you could be effective down the stretch. Why do you think the Cubs fans were going to love you when they gave up big assets to get you and you refused to sign a freaking extension last season? Like, what did he expect was going to happen, for Christ's sake?
I tell you what, we the Cubs have really made out in this one. I'll tell you that much. But I think to me, the Central is over until the Cubs prove they can do it, and they haven't proven they can do it. So I'm not willing to say that they have a legitimate shot at this until it's probably 3 games or less.
That's fair.
Just because I've been through it too many times, particularly in the last couple of years. I mean, we stole their manager to do exactly what they've been doing for the last 2 weeks, and it's not enough. Which speaks volumes about the Brewers' organizational structure. But to me, I think the only one who to me has any real shot of probably cracking the 6 is probably, I'll say, San Diego, the Cardinals, because I'll never count the Cardinals out until they're mathematically eliminated. And years and years of Cub fandom will do that to you. The Nationals are another team that might have a shot of sneaking in, just because they're the ones of them, and the Marlins are the ones who might actually be able to sustain a run and make it to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think the Marlins have enough pieces with not having Cabrera in their rotation and some of the other things. So you're basically relying on Sandy to get you to the playoffs, and I just don't think that's enough.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
So of the teams outside the top 6, it's San Diego, St. Louis, and the Nationals, one from each division, to me, that have any real hope of making it back in. Whether they will or not is, obviously to be determined. But those are the only 3 that have a legitimate prayer of doing it.
Yeah.
To me, I think. To me, I still feel like the Brewers are going to win this division, and I said that at the beginning of the year. There's a chance to me that between Atlanta and the Dodgers, I think Atlanta is the one that has the most chance of losing it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, I mean, if the Phillies get on another streak, I mean, look out with their
Yeah.
offense and with the pitching issues that you guys have had.
No,
Objectively, I think
no,
it's
no argument.
yeah.
Um, I did look. You guys have 7 more games with the Brewers. You have 4 at home, 4 at home at the end of August into September, and then 3 on the road in the second week of starting September 7th. So, the games are there. You have the opportunity. Let's see if Stealing Council will ever actually, put up what it was expected to.
Come on now, settle
I
down.
know. I know. Do you think the Brewers are going to hold on to the one? Like the Dodgers have been absolute dog crap lately. 2-8 in their last 10. They have scuttled hard. Now they've got a bunch of players coming back. A lot of teams have players coming back. I mean, Rutschman's coming back on Tuesday for the Red Sox, for instance, to make his debut. The Dodgers have like 3 or 4 pitchers that are hurt and should be coming back. Padres are expecting to get Musgrove back late this month, early next month, for instance. A lot of players could start to come back for a lot of teams. Will the Brewers hold on to that number 1 seed?
You know what? Yeah, I'll say they will.
Okay.
I just, to me, it's sustained excellence that they have as a club.
Absolutely.
And it's not like whether the Dodgers are the 1 or the 2 doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like, long term. But yeah, to me, Milwaukee is the better of those 2 as a complete ball club.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
So I don't see that changing, and I think that's the one team that just feels like a dead set certainty to have a bye and be the best team in that league. They just do.
Yeah, truly, I think I think it's probably going to be Brewers, Dodgers, Braves. I don't know if Atlanta's going to hold on to the 2 seed. They only have the game on the Dodgers right now. Now, again, there's a lot of baseball to play. We'll see what happens among all the teams. Injuries and health will play massive roles. So, we are at the time of the year, though, where all of the games count. There are no days off the rest of the way out. All right. So, Joe, playoff dates were announced. Fire away, man.
Yeah, so they've got the wild card series will start on Tuesday, September the 29th. Okay. Game 2 will be the 30th, and then Game 3 would be the 1st. It looks like all of those games are on NBC Peacock and NBC Sports Network. So for planning ahead, if you're not a subscriber to one of those platforms, you may need to if you don't have another TV provider. Just a heads up a while.
Wait until the second to last week in September. That's when you activate the free trial.
Correct. And then the division series will start October the 3rd. And then the 4th will be NL games, game 2. So basically the division series will go from the 3rd to the 10th if they play 5 games in each series. So that'll be where that's at. The NLCS would start on the 11th of October. The ALCS would start on the 12th. If both series needed a game 7, that would go to the 20th of October. And then the World Series will start on the 23rd of October, a Friday game. The division series is Fox, FS1, TBS, that kind of stuff for planning ahead there. Fox and TBS for the CS, and then, of course, Fox for the World Series. The last game of the World Series, if it goes to 7, would be October the 31st.
Oh, we're not going into November this year. I love that. All right, good.
So you're going to have game 1 and 2 on a Friday, Saturday in the World Series, the 23rd, 24th. You're going to have game 3 and 4, the 26th, 27th, 5th, the 28th, and then a day, and then the 30th and 31st. Barring any rain delays, of course.
Yeah. Knock on wood, they'll work their way around that, not have to screw with the schedule too much. Just as a reminder, sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I will say this with the wild card and the DS, when they have more than 2 games, just remember there's going to be like a game that's on at 1:00, and it's going to be stupid.
It's probably going to be Atlanta because it always is.
I mean, that won't disappoint me. I won't watch it.
Yeah, I know. It will disappoint me, though, because I can't watch it.
I'm just kidding with you.
So, and as a reminder, wild card round, higher seed has the home game for all 3 games if necessary. In the DS, it's a 2-2-1 format, and in the CS and the World Series, it's 2-3-2.
Correct. Yep.
So, they're not doing that. The NBA's kooky 2-2-1-1-1-1 or whatever. Yeah, and I'm okay with that. Because when you have East-West like last year, that would be a hellacious travel schedule to do 2-2-1-1-1. So thank goodness for that. All right, Joe, on Thursday night, we'll have to remember it's not heaven, it's Iowa. The Field of Dreams game after a year off is back. The field renovations are complete. The game's going to be Thursday at 7:30. It's going to be broadcast on Netflix. It will be Phillies versus the Twins. Twins will be the designated home team. A lot of cool stuff going on as always. Check out the pictures online. They've got the Phillies versus Twins cut through some of the corn right next to the stadium. So the overhead drone shots are going to be absolutely spectacular. This year, Joe, more than 25 members of the Baseball Hall of Fame will be part of the festivities. It's believed to be the largest gathering of living Hall of Famers at one game since the 2008 All-Star Game at Yankee Stadium. 4 names we definitely know are going to be there: Mike Schmidt, Steve Carlton, Joe Mauer, and Rod Carew. 2 from the Phillies, 2 from the Twins, but we're going to see a bunch from all over the league, which I love. Also, it has been confirmed that in some manner or another, star of the movie, Kevin Costner, will be there as well. Thank goodness for that. I hope they do a hologram or at least play some of James Earl Jones' voice throughout the stadium, throughout the game. Rest in peace, James. Custom menu for the stadium that night, including the Heaven on a Hot Dog, signature hot dog with sweet corn relish and corn bacon jam. I'd try one of those. Also, both teams are going to be wearing vintage uniforms. The Phillies will be in their gray, inspired by road uniforms that the team wore from 39 through 41. Red Phillies script across the chest with a navy blue outline, along with a retro sleeve patch, which is a replica of one that they wore back in 1939. The Twins, white tops with navy blue pinstripes, an ode to their original home uniforms from 1961. Joe, I saw the pictures. Personally, I think the Phillies are going to win the uniform matchup for this one. Here, give me a second. Do I have it? Yeah. Here, let me share my screen so you can see the.
It's definitely the more unique of the two. I think for me, the hat is the kind of the Philly hat is pretty neat, just because it's a more simple look. Yeah, I mean it's exciting to have the game back.
Yeah, those are the uniforms. I like the Phillies set better. I like the Twin set. It's really clean, but that's really cool scripting for the Phillies on their tops. The hat's kind of plain, but that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I like playing in this scenario just because it's an older.
Yeah.
It's an ode to the past in a lot of ways. So I kind of like that with this. I think it's more than 1 year. This is like a couple of years they've been without the Field of Dreams game. I think it's 3.
Yeah, it might have been 2. It's been too long.
The last one was in 2022 from what I was reading. So it's been a 3-year layoff, almost 4-year layoff, I guess.
I'm so excited that it's going to be back. I loved the last presentation of it so much. It's been such exciting baseball to watch. Yeah, I'm psyched. I'll be watching.
Yeah, it'll definitely be fun. It always is with the one-off games. We've talked about that a ton, where they just nail the one-offs in the MLB. Um, so and it's two teams that are still in the middle of a playoff push. So it's not like it's teams that don't have a shot or something like
All right, Joe, our pitching probables for right now, it's going to be Nola versus Bradley. Who do you got winning the game?
that. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Phillies. I just feel like offensively, I trust them a lot more. Um,
Yeah,
Regardless of what myself or particularly Jason feels about Aaron Nola, um, I I trust the Phillies more in this scenario than I do in do it than I do Minnesota. Particularly Kyle Schwarber. I expect great theatrics from Kyle Schwarber. In fact, I'll go so bold and he will hit a homer or two, probably two. One of them will be the game-winning home run.
I like it. I like it. Tosh Bradley's having a good season for the Twins. 9-4, 3.76 ERA, 125 WHIP, and 148 strikeouts in the season so far. Um, I'm going to go Twins because one, we can't all agree on everything all the time. So I'm going to be contrary and go for the Twins because I know Jason's going to go for the Phillies. I do like Tosh Bradley though. I think he's going to match up well in this one. I do agree with you though. I think there's going to be at least one Schwarber hit at some point in this game. And if there's not, I'm going to be really disappointed. I think Schwarber will be too. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good one-off. It's great to have playoff teams because, of course, when it's scheduled this far, you have no idea who's going to be in, who's going to be out. And I do really appreciate that Major League Baseball is continuing to rotate the teams in so that everybody's going to get a shot to play there. So, I'm really excited to see the series come back. So I can't wait to hear them announce who's going to be the 2027 matchup.
yeah. There was an interesting thing that the Phillies did this past weekend,
Mhm.
where they had four players who never got they got invited, like they got called up, but they never played. Um, they were on the big league field on Sunday. It's sort of like a special edition Field of Dreams uniform. They got to throw out first pitches, that kind of thing. Um, some guys that were called up but never made it into the actual records, shall we say. Um, in They did a Moonlight Graham style moment for a few guys, which is kind of cool.
I love that. And I know there's also going to be a Prospects Field of Dreams game, I believe the day before. So that's exciting to see. I Netflix has not announced who's doing the play-by-play or anything else, so we will. That'll be a surprise for Thursday night. I know.
For me, it just seems like they should easily do some other stuff with this, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of fun stuff throughout. I mean, that hologram of Harry Carey. I know you were happy to see it, but hoped it stayed as a one-time thing. I hope they do something funny like that again. There's got
Yeah.
to be, there is a very, very great broadcasting tradition from both of those clubs, so they could absolutely do something like that again. Yeah, there's a lot they could do. I'm excited for it. I really am.
Yeah, the other games surrounding that. So tomorrow there's a minor league game between the St. Paul Saints and the Iowa Cubs,
Oh,
and that'll be on MLB Network at 7:30 tomorrow. And then on Wednesday is the high school All American game. Um,
oh, so they're making it into a whole week. That's really cool. That's
and, and
really
the high school All American game, they will have one player from each of the two teams, one icon from each of the two teams, managing the two high school teams. And so Jim Tomey and Torrey Hunter will be the managers of the high school teams.
Oh,
So
that's pretty sweet. I like that a lot.
yeah.
Do you know, out of curiosity, did MLB try to keep a large percentage of the tickets local to people in Iowa like they've done the last couple times?
I've not seen anything to say that for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I would assume they did.
Yeah, I hope so.
Um,
I always thought that was really cool.
yeah, I would assume they did, but you never know. Especially now that it's much more of a popular thing to try to get to. Um,
And, capitalism.
Not always a bad thing.
Yeah, it's what it is. All I'm going to say, this is World Cup fans. All I'm going to say is this: thank God FIFA's backing off of this stupid fee thing they were working on, and I think their president is an absolute piece of corruptible piece of crap. Anyway, back to baseball. Speaking of minor leagues, let's move on to down on the farm. Our hitter for the past week was Charles McAdoo, second baseman for the Buffalo Bisons, AAA affiliate of the Blue Jays, who actually just got called up to the Blue Jays today. So congratulations, Mr. McAdoo, for getting back up. Last week, he played in 6 games, slashed 464, 483, 893, and 28 at bats. He had scored 7 runs, had 13 hits, 4 homers, 13 RBIs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and 1 stolen base. Not a bad week there for Mr. McAdoo. And our pitcher is going to be Brendan Beck of Scranton Wilkes-Barre, the Rail Riders, the AAA affiliate of the New York Yankees. He made 2 starts, went 1-0 through 10 2/3 innings, allowed 8 hits, 1 earned run, 1 home run, 4 walks, 20 strikeouts. That's an ERA of .84, a whip of 1.13, and an average against of 200. Not too shabby for those 2 players this week, Joe.
Yeah, you don't see that in the minor leagues very often.
No, you do. Well, not unless you're playing against the Barnstormers lately. They have, excuse me, the Stormers lately. It's been their typical rough start to the second half, and I give them about another week, and then the team's going to remember how to play and make a rush for the second half title.
I will say this: no matter how they're doing when I go to a Stormer game, there's always a really bad inning in the middle, and it makes the game last forever.
Oh, I don't know how. There's always one long inning that just
every time
that game.
Every time.
Agreed. I work for Penn State Health now, and got 1 tickets at work to a game was like 2 weeks ago against the Revolution. It was right after the break. It was a Thursday evening game. It was a nice night for a game. It wasn't too hot, thankfully, because those are section. I want to say it's 113 is the Penn State Health sponsored section. So our tickets were over there. The people behind us were great. They've been to all sorts of major and minor league games across the country, concerts. So we had a lot of fun talking to them in between innings and stuff. But I have been a vocal critic of the all turf field. I am going to remain a vocal critic of the all turf field, and especially the all turf infield. But Joe, from the right field side, as the sun is going down for the first 3.5, 4 innings, that artificial turf is extremely shiny and it's very distracting in the stands. So
yeah,
I really. First of all, I don't know why so many places are going to artificial turf for dirt. Why? Just stop.
I mean, I will say this. I know how you feel about it. Obviously, you're very passionate about it. I miss the sprinkling of the dirt, every 3 innings. I do. Don't get me wrong. I think obviously they're doing it for the benefit of the community at large, where they can host some different style events. They have a ton of wrestling shows that they're doing there now. They've got high school sports that they try to play there too. So
Mm-hmm.
I see your point about not liking it. I'm just trying to see the bigger picture as to why they did it.
And I understand, like, when they would have concerts in the outfield, it would absolutely fry that area of grass. I understand that. So even if they went to an artificial turf outfield or even infield outfield, Okay, it's the dirt. Why? Why? What the actual freaking hell are we doing? It's bad. I remember Jason was at one of the early games right after they put the all turf field in, and he said watching people try to slide into bases was hilarious because they would stop sliding so early because the slide difference is so different on turf versus on dirt, and how much the turf just grabs and kills your momentum. Like, I get it for the freaking Savannah Bananas because of the trick plays. It's a consistent bounce for them. You know, when they're doing the bounce trick shots, that's fine. That's the Savannah Bananas. This is real baseball. Bring at least the dirt back. I mean, bring the real grass back, but bring the turf back. Like, I know, and I will say this to everybody that's going to say, "Oh, it's so much cheaper because you never have to replace artificial turf." Yeah, I was a turf grass major. I learned about artificial turf too. Yes, you do have to replace that turf periodically, and you do have to replace patches throughout the season as it gets torn up, which does happen. It is a much higher upfront cost. Now, yeah, you're going to save on groundskeepers in the long term, which I think is also crap that they're cutting so much staff to do that. But I'm sorry, real grass is always going to be better. And I hope the NFLPA is going to look at all these NFL teams, even that have domed stadiums, that were able to grow real grass for the freaking World Cup and say, if you can do it for the World Cup, you can do it for our players too. Mic drop. All right, Joe. Let's. Why don't you pull up the odds on some awards for the end of the year here?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's kind of look at where things are now and see where they might go. We'll start with the AL MVP right now. According to ESPN, the odds are by DraftKings. Yordan Alvarez is at minus 900 for the AL MVP. Junior Caminero is plus 700. Ben Rice is 30-1, and Dylan Dingler is 40-1.
Okay, so it's a two-man race, but it's almost over, is what you're saying.
I mean, according to them, I don't know how. I mean, to me, if Tampa runs away with this division, then it's going to be largely because of Caminero, and Caminero should win it.
But again, with the idea of most valuable to your team, Yordan Alvarez is the only reason the Astros are leading that division right now.
Fair enough. I mean, I think depending on how long Aaron Judge is out, if Ben Rice goes on a tear, you could say that the only reason the Yankees are where they are is because Ben Rice is playing.
Agreed. I know. I'm trying to be Jason here.
All right, so we'll go through the AL completely, and then we'll go to the NL. So the AL Cy Young, right now you have Cam Schlittler with the Yankees at minus 125. Dylan Cease is even. Sonny Gray is 25-1 odds. Drew Rasmussen 30-1. Gavin Williams from the Guardians 35-1. Parker Messick 40-1 from the Guardians as well. And then Logan Gilbert from the Mariners is 65-1.
Yeah, so it's probably a two-man race between Cam and Dylan. I wouldn't take Sonny Gray and Drew Rasmussen out quite yet, but it's rapidly turning into the two of them. Schiller's had a hell of a year. There's a reason he started the All-Star game for the AL. He is yeah. It's very frustrating when you have a player that well playing. I believe he was one of the reasons we did not do so well against the Yankees this past weekend. Let me double check.
Yeah, to me, if it were me, I would probably lean between Sonny Gray and Dylan Cease. Sonny Gray right now is 14-2, 278 ERA, 106 strikeouts, which is nowhere near obviously Mizorowski's numbers, but still pretty impressive for Boston, the way they've been playing up until recently. And a 1.15 whip.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
And I can speak from personal experience on Dylan Cease because the other day the Cubs struck out 10 times or 12 times in 7 innings. It was not pleasant.
Yeah, Dylan Cease's.
Like,
Yeah,
like the Blue Jays might be bad, but when Dylan Cease is on the mound, they are not out of any game.
no, absolutely not. Schittler did actually pitch the game that the Yankees lost, but it was in 10. So he took a no decision against Atlanta. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 11 strikeouts, no walks, 1 home run allowed. ERA for the season's down to 2.21. I mean, dude's really good.
Yeah. All right. So then we'll go into the Rookie of the Year for the AL. Right now, the odds are Kevin McGonigal from the Tigers is at minus 525. Murakami from the White Sox is at plus 475. Parker Messick at 20-1. Travis Bazana from the Guardians, both those guys 40-1. Antonaki from the White Sox at 40-1. Chase DeLauder from the Guardians at 40-1. And Akamoto at 40-1 from the Blue Jays.
It's a 2-man race between McGonigal and Murakami, and I think Murakami's going to get rightfully penalized for his injury time, and I think McGonigal's going to take this one.
Yeah, it's really hard to argue with the season McGonigal has had, and to argue with the success he's had when they didn't really necessarily. There's a lot of pressure to perform, and he's lived up to it and risen to the bell. With regards to that. So yeah, to me, it's McGonigal's race to lose at this point.
Yeah, it's not often you have a rookie hitting 286 with 12 home runs and almost 500 at bats. I mean, he's done everything that Detroit could have asked him to do this year in 100. Well, yeah, and he's been in 114 games. So yeah, 5.3 WAR. That's not a bad way to open your career up, man.
Yeah. All right, we'll go to the NL Rookie of the Year now. We're going to go from bottom to top, the opposite of what we did with the AL.
Yep.
But for the NL Rookie of the Year, you have J.J. Weatherholt at minus 150 from the Cardinals, Sal Stewart from the Reds at plus 115. You have a pair of Mets, Nolan McLean and Carson Bang at 30-1. Esmeralda Valdez from the Pirates at 45-1, largely on the last couple weeks of the season for him to get back in this race. Rumfield from the Rockies at 50-1 and Eldritch from the Giants at 100-1.
Yeah, this one's a lot tighter. Weatherholt and Stewart, I think it's going to go back and forth over the next couple weeks, depending on how the two of them are doing. That one's going to run much closer to the end of the year based on how things have gone so far. The two Mets definitely in it. I think they're a bit of a long shot to jump back into the top, but not impossible at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think of the two Mets, it's probably Bang that might have the shot, just because it's going to be an offensive heavy award, obviously.
Yeah, this year without a doubt.
So I'm going to go with Weatherholt. I think he's gonna keep this and maintain it. If it were me.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm going to go Sal Stewart just to be different, but yeah, I think you're right. I think it's Weatherholt's to lose.
Yeah. All right, we'll go with the NL Cy Young, and we'll start at the bottom of this list and go up with the odds. They've got Jesus Luzardo at 80-1, Chase Burns at 35-1. Chase Burns from the Reds. Yamamoto at 30-1. Wheeler at 20-1, Sanchez at 11-1, Sale at plus 700, and Mizorowski at minus 520.
It's over. As much as I want to say Sale has a chance, it's Mizorowski. That's a massive odds difference for the middle of August. Unless Mizorowski absolutely craps the bed the rest of the way, which I don't see happening. It's gonna be his to lose. Sale's having a great season, and it just sucks for him because he's just running into somebody who's having an absolutely insane season.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with the season Miz has had, as much as I don't like him.
No,
like reasons, but
understandable. But I'm just. Let me pull up the comparison here just because, So similar. Mizorowski's had one more start, but that's largely irrelevant. He's beaten Sale by 10 innings. Sales has one more win right now, 12-7 versus 11-5. Mizorowski's ERA is 176 to 220, ERA plus at 235 to 190, strikeouts 204 to 151, K percentage at 40.6 to 30.6. Sale has walked two less guys at 28 versus 30. Yeah, as much as I love Chris Sale, having a hell of a season, especially for a guy who's 37. Right now, it's Mizorowski.
Yeah, I think if the Phillies do what a lot of us probably think they'll do, and they'll claw back and make a solid run at the end, I could see Sanchez maybe winning this, but it would be a really long shot to do that.
Here, let me add Sanchez into this too. I don't think it's gonna help much. There he is, Christopher. Add to the list. Sanchez does have the WAR edge. And the better record. He's thrown more innings too at 149 2/3 at 15-4. WAR is at 6.2. He has the highest ERA of the three of them. He's number 2 in strikeouts, and he has the most walks at sultry 35. That's crazy how well these three guys are pitching. Yeah, I think the odds makers have it right though right now. Mizorowski, Sale, Sanchez.
Yeah, based on where things are now, I think if the Phillies do what at least I think they will do it and make a pretty decent run down the stretch, there's a chance that he overtakes both of them if things go wrong.
What was Mizorowski at? Negative 750.
Negative 525.
Oh, 525 and Sales over 300. Yeah, that's almost wrapped up based on those odds, honestly.
Yeah. All right, now we'll move into the NL MVP. We'll start again bottom to the top here. Kyle Schwarber at 150 to 1. CJ Abrams at 100 to 1. Shohei at even. And PCA at minus 120. I will let you go first on this one.
I've said since we started talking about this in the group chat over the last 2 weeks, I think it should be PCA. I do agree that it's going to be a two-man race between PCA and Shohei. I hate the fact that we're still looking at. I hate the fact that we're still going to give Shohei a bump on WAR because of his pitching. But let me pull up the comparison here with PCA and Shohei so far. Obviously, Shohei is going to have the edge in pitching.
Let me ask you the question. One of the things that's on my mind with this, I mean, Jordan does play some outfield, correct?
I don't think he. Let me look. I think he's only DH this year because of how injury prone he has been. Let me see if he's played any games in the field. Come on, don't freeze on me. He has played. He's played 19 games out of 99 at DH, 19 in left field. So he has played. He has 146 innings out there.
Yeah, to me, it's one of those things where, like, Jordan, I'm willing to go, okay, yeah, you're playing where your team needs you to play. The fact that Shohei is now strictly a DH to me probably should be disqualifying.
Yeah, or at least it should be marked, it should be a point against.
Correct. Yeah.
So here's your head-to-head. And PCA has played in significantly more games at this point, 119 versus 108. He does lead the WAR race 7.5 to 6.3. Hits, PCA 128 to 121. Homers are tied at 26. RBIs are tied at 71. PCA has 30 stolen bases to 6. Batting average Shohei at 292 to 286. OBP Shohei 395 to 388. Slugging 544 to 542 for PCA. OPS 937 to 931. The averages and all of that are close enough to call a wash, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
I would agree.
I think given the drastically larger number of games, the fact that PCA is playing the field and playing it very well, and he's stealing bases on top of it, so those regular singles are turning into doubles, triples with him running. Because let's be real, as you pointed out last year, he is the only true speed 99 guy in the league right now. I completely agree with you on that. For me, it's PCA. And I think the odds are about right. It should still be close, but to me, PCA is way more valuable to his team than Shohei is to his team, and the numbers show it on top of that. So I feel like it's a no brainer for PCA.
Yeah, it to me this needs to stop being a who's the biggest superstar award, which is what it's turned into.
Yeah, agreed.
And be more like what Jason has always preached, which is the most valuable player to their team. And without PCA, this team is easily in third or fourth, like they just are. And that's obviously speaking as a Cub fan who lives with it day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this team is easily third or fourth place without him, especially given the fact that you've had so many pitching injuries. At B, you had a 35 mil guy who's finally starting to hit like he's a 35 mil guy in
Yeah.
Alex Bregman, and it only took 3 months to do that. So, like,
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's one of those things where without PCA, this team is not in the conversation.
I completely agree. I have no arguments, and I think it should be PCA, frankly. All right, so that's largely that's it for us. Joe, I did find out today some happy news for Atlanta. Schwellenbach and Strider are both starting to throw finally, so we actually may see at least one of them before the end of the year. Thank God for that. I think it'll be Schwelly, not Strider. If Strider comes back, I don't expect him to do anything but bullpen work, which honestly, given the fragile state of his elbow, is probably where he should be. Let's be real, the bullpen could use some shoring up anyway. So yeah, speaking of teams that are getting players back, yeah, I can't wait. I saw you guys have a bunch of pitchers that are starting to throw again too. So relief is coming.
Yeah, I have a sense that Steele is gonna pitch the rest of the year from the bullpen, if at all.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
There's just such a different dynamic when he's in the dugout and when he's in the bullpen. There just is. The guy is fiery and he's a team leader, and it's exactly what they need going down the stretch.
Yeah, I agree. If they can get Steele back in any capacity, that's huge. I mean, that's imagine Justin Steele to be a setup man for you. It shrinks the game down because you can throw him 1 to 2 innings at a time.
That would be delightful.
Like I said, dude, that's how I'm thinking of Strider. Strider setting up Iglesias, or Iglesias setting up Strider. They won't do that. It'll be Strider setting up Iglesias if Strider's able to come back.
Yeah.
All right. Audio recordings are available on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. We're live on YouTube and Facebook. Merchandise is at redbubble.com. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/dollardogsandbeer. We're presented by Dark Arrow Podcast, LLC, and sponsored by Baron Barbershop in Manheim. Guys, may your dogs always cost $1. May your beer always be cold. We'll see you next week.